This is with regards to the latest statement coming in from the Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, who's questioned the folly of the 1962 Sino-India War. He slammed Nehru's no Air Force decision, drawing parallels to 1962's war and Operation Sindoor. He says that the use of Air Force would have slowed the Chinese offensive against India considerably during the 1962 Sino-Indian War, and it may have been termed as escalatory then. But that is not the case now, as seen in Operation Sindoor. The Bharatiya Janata Party has, of course, seized this as an opportunity to target the Congress Party, saying Jawaharlal Nehru and Congress Party's failed leadership have weakened national security. Nehru's blind idealism was a cause of the 1962 blunder. That's a big breaking input coming in this after CDS General Anil Chauhan has questioned the follies of 1962. In fact, he's also gone on to talk about how the then policies also went on to govern India's almost strategic decisions when it comes to the northeast frontier, even states like Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh. So he's now questioning that why wasn't Air Force involved back in the year 1962 during the Sino-Indian War when China had waged that war against India. So it's also, of course, led to a political sort of blame game where BJP is now capitalizing on this entire situation. There's also a reaction that's come in. Let's quickly listen in to what BJP's Shehzad Poonawala's had to say.
Blunders and surrenders. And this is evident right from 1948 when Nehru made the first blunder on Kashmir, internationalized it. Then he said, let's give up Aksai Chin. He didn't care for Aksai Chin. He was blindly trusting our enemies and also gave rise to the PLA troops when they were climbing on Tibet. If that wasn't enough, in 1962, he did not use the Air Force. At that time, we had a superior Air Force. Had we used our Air Force, complexion and outcome of 1962 could have been very different. But he didn't. In 1965, he won the Indo-Pak War. But in 1968, Congress handed over land to Pakistan. In 1971, whatever we had gained at the time of the 1971 war under Sam Manekshaw's leadership was given off in the discussion table and we got nothing in return. In 1990s, we capitulated and did not do the nuclear tests. And this was another blunder. And in 2008, after 26/11 happened, instead of taking strong action on Pakistan, we gave them most favored nation status. But today that has changed. Today we do surgical strike, Balakot airstrike, and Operation Sindoor, which set a new normal. In fact, for the first time in a nuclear power country, 9 terrorist targets and 11 military targets were targeted. But instead of appreciating that and hailing our armed forces, the Congress once again doubted the bravery of our brave forces. And they said that, look, Operation Sindoor is a failure. It is chutput. It is surrender. This is the way Congress has always behaved.
All right. So an extensive attack coming in from BJP's Shehzad Poonawala over there, who's in fact attacked the history of blunders by the Congress parties, the one that go back all the way to 1962's Sino-India War when China waged that war against India. But more importantly, also highlighting the history of how India has only been succumbing to Pakistan till it was the BJP government that came to power in 2014, which has now set a new doctrine when it comes to national security, especially with not just Balakot, but also with Operation Sindoor, where, remember, the Air Force is credited for playing a very key pivotal role, especially in dismantling and destroying the terror camps over there. And of course, as we all know, the CDS's statement has been the key starting point for this entire discussion that's currently taking place. Let me take that forward with Aman Sharma, who's joining me on the broadcast. Aman, we've seen how BJP has time and again taken pot shots at the Congress party for, making India a soft target, for not doing enough for India's national security. But when the CDS himself, General Anil Chauhan, says this, how much weightage does that have?
Akanksha, I think, carries a lot of weight because it is coming from the top military officer of the country, the Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, and him saying this, at this release, this event which was happened where he released a video message clearly saying that, if the Air Force had been used in the 1962 India-China war, it would have really slowed the Chinese offense considerably. He said it may have been termed as escalatory at that point of time, but that is not the case now, as we saw in Operation Sindoor, where the Air Force has really been the game changer, I would say, in Operation Sindoor. Even without crossing our border, our Air Force were Rafales and our Sukhois were able to strike deep inside Pakistani territory with great precision, destroying the terror camps there, destroying even many of their air bases there. And the General Chauhan is now saying that, if Air Force had been used similarly during the 1962 war, we could have really, countered the Chinese offensive considerably. He's saying that the war with China, which happened 63 years ago, the forward policy should not have been applied uniformly to Ladakh and Nepal or present-day Arunachal Pradesh, because both the regions are different histories of dispute, an entirely different terrain, and following identical policies for Ladakh and Nepal and Arunachal Pradesh was completely flawed. This is again questioning the Congress thinking at that particular point of time, which had boomeranged spectacularly at that time. And General Chauhan now clearly on both these points on not the non-usage of the Air Force and the forward policy is really questioning about the government then did, and the reverses we suffered during the war at that point of time were due to these tactical mistakes. That is what General Chauhan is purportedly trying to say.
Absolutely. We'll have to wait and watch what the Congress party has to say in its defense. But thank you for putting that into perspective for us, Aman. With that,